Me? Okay. So hi guys, how is everybody doing? Can they talk or no? Is it just me?
Everyone's muted right now just because there's so many people on. But they can unmute themselves if they have questions for you.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna go through the questions that Britt sent me to have prepared. So the first question was, how long do I work? I work all the time. I'm at this computer all the time. Sometimes I fall asleep in the office. There's a pillow back there, and that's no joke. But that's just because I'm really wanting to launch this and really wanting to move up really quickly. So, I mean, not everybody has to do that. Obviously, that's kind of extreme. But I usually put in about 10 hours a day, which is a lot of time. But some of that time is editing films, and sometimes I do small stuff that I haven't uploaded yet. So there's a lot of editing, but in terms of Beachbody, I'm probably doing about like 8 of those 10 hours Beachbody, whether I'm talking to challengers or I'm not really pitching the business as much, but just coming up with valuable things to post and kind of schedule out my whole week so that I have enough content to get me through. Because I think of the best things when I'm like in the shower or laying in bed and I don't have anything to write down. Great things always come to me, which is just ironic. Then people wanted to know kind of how I do my power hour. I usually do it right in the morning. I check in with my challengers. I see if there's any messages. I try to go through all the messages and new friend requests and everything right there in the beginning. But I want to get back to my team and my challengers first. So I do that in the morning, but I try to just power through like the first big half of my day. So I get to like 2 p.m. Pacific time and I'm like wiped. That's when I kind of will do my workout, have my Shakeology, take a shower finally, and rev up for people that get on at night because I'm online all day. So I kind of have been able to see like who's the morning people, who are the afternoon people, who are the night people. It's almost like there's 3 shifts. And so it's kind of interesting. But I'm on it all the time. I never turn it off because I want to be available in case anybody has a question. And a lot of my challengers are on the East Coast. So I have that huge 3-hour gap that I have to make up for. So.
And you don't have a full-time job, right? This is your full-time job.
This is all I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I moved to Oregon from Utah. I graduated in May with a film and media arts BA, and couldn't get a job. I mean, you move to some new place and you just can't find a job. So I just kind of found my upline girl, Alora, who I went to high school with. And when I decided I wanted to be a Beachbody coach, like I had already decided this is what I want to do. I want to go all in. I'm going to make it happen. I basically was like, which program do you think I should work out to? And that was it. I ordered the P90X3 and it's been history ever since. So there was no real like, is it for me? I don't know. I was just like, I have to make this work. I'm going to make it work because I cannot find a job and I have to help with the income. I have to. So that's been a huge driving force. People wanted to know how I deal with objections. I basically follow the script that Anita gave us. And then if there are people that are just not into it, I am totally fine with that. I do not chase anybody down. They see me posting frequently and they end up turning around and coming to me. So it's just a matter of time before someone's going to, I don't want to say cave, but go, okay, what can I do? I just had 2 girls message me today. One of them got back from like an amazing vacation and she's like, I watched you the whole time I was in the Caribbean and I knew right when I got home that I had to call you because I knew you were going to get me right back on track. So, and she originally had said no. So it's just about doing your follow-ups and making sure to be consistent with that. Another question was, how do I create the trust with my following? I try to be as genuine as possible all the time, even if it is like a hot mess. Like I posted a video a few days ago of when I found out that my How I Went to Diamond in 90 Days video got to the top 10 coaches, and I was a bawling mess. It was probably 20 minutes before February Challenge Cup was over, and we're all like stressed out. The girls are trying to hit 75 points or whatever. And, you know, no makeup on, my hair's a mess, my hair's like way over here. And I'm just bawling my eyes out. But I wanted to get that message that this is me raw. I'm trying to help people. And that first video, I didn't think that I was going to cry in it. I had been talking about it for like 10 minutes and then I just, blah, it was like a built-up of emotions. So I think that trust hasn't been an issue for me just because I've always been consistent and driven in everything I've done. So all of my previous friends on Facebook have always known that about me. I got my bachelor's done in 2 years instead of 4 and worked full time. So, and commuted 45 minutes each way to my job, up and down a huge Parley's Canyon in the snow. It was horrific, but I got it done. And I think people are just like, well, if Kristin's going to what is she going to take on now? Okay, cool. Then she's going to give it 110% because that's just the way I'm like dialed in, I guess. I don't know. Where am I getting my coaches from? My challengers? 100%. My first few coaches were my family. I highly recommend, you know, signing up your spouse and then like your mom or someone that you can count on. Or even help them build a business. And like my mom, she's 65. She doesn't really know a lot about social media, but I drove all the way to Utah a few days ago and made her a little social media pro at her little level. So she's able to like get her little Instagram started. I dialed her in with like every little thing. So she's got 3 different social media things and I'm just like, Mom, post twice a day on Facebook and just comment 3 times on somebody's fun post. And she just has been able to grow. So it's all, I definitely believe, you know, Anita says this, is that the best coaches are going to come from your challenge groups because they're a product of the product. They know what your day is like because they see you checking in with the challengers every day. And so they're like, oh, I could totally do that too. Like, look at Kristin. She could teach me. She taught me how to like get fit, you know, and get back on track. So I trust her to be my upline, you know, coach. So I think that making your priorities your coaches they already have that are running a business, and then your challengers, spending the majority of the time with those groups is super effective into turning them into, you know, building that ladder as well. Let me think. My best personal development book is hard. I have read almost all of the ones that are on that list and I love them all, but I'm going to have to say that You Are a Badass is my favorite, by Jen Sincero. This is what it looks like. Right now, I'm currently reading The Compound Effect again because I have a couple books coming in the mail that haven't got here yet. So I'll either listen to a podcast like Lewis Howes or the Shalene podcast while I'm waiting for a book, because I crushed like 7 books in like a week. I'm a nerd. But so those are the 2 books that I definitely recommend if you haven't started with any of that. And then these are some of my best practices. I always have a to-do list, and sometimes my to-do list is horrendous. Like, I can show you just how ridiculous it can get sometimes. Like, really bad. But I make sure that everything is done on this list before I go to bed, or I don't go to bed. It's got to be done, because I know if I wake up the next day, I'm going to have just as long of a list, and I'm going to have to add it to that. So try to get through everything that you put on a list and write things down, because if you don't write things down, they're just kind of, I don't know. I mean, some people are probably good with not having to write things down, but I'm a hot mess if I don't. Like, and I like to be able to actually cross it off. It makes me feel good about myself, like I accomplished that. So I definitely have a to-do list. My next thing is I highly recommend you guys filling out the business activity tracker. Gotta do it. Gotta get it done. Gotta fill out every single aspect of it. Even if you only post once a day, write it down so you know, okay, that's where I'm weak. You know what I mean? I'm weak in, you know, inviting people to join, or, you know, I'm really good at talking to people about the business, but I'm really not getting across what a challenge group is, and, you know, or the product. So definitely look at that, because if you're not tracking your progress with anything, just like the 21-day fix, we track our food, we write everything down. If you're not writing everything down you're doing in your business, you're going to have huge gaps and holes. So make sure that you write everything down. What else? And then you got to post 3 to 5 times a day. And they've got to be creative and genuine and from the heart, because that's, people love a story, and people don't love like a fake story. People love like a realistic story, and everybody has one. You just have to figure out which one is yours and if you're okay to tell it. And if you are, go all in to tell that story. Like, don't have any hesitation. Don't hold anything back, and just word vomit it. Because I mean, and don't word vomit it all the time, but like word vomit it enough that like people are like, wow, she really is raw and genuine and willing to put her whole self out there. There's no hidden like transparencies with her. There's no, what is she, you know what I mean? There's no fakeness to that. Like, you can't be fake in this business, because if all you want to do is sell challenge packs and just crush it on the leaderboard or whatever, that's fine. But at the end of the day, how are you going to take care of those, like 25, 30 coaches and teach them the business? You've got to think about how you're going to mold these people into cloning what you do. You got to clone them to what you do. Because you want to have, well, I think of things like, okay, I want myself, if I could have myself in my downline, that'd be awesome. So I have to figure out who would be able to be good at that. Not everybody's going to make a great downline rock star, coach like that. They've got to, I'm not saying like a rock star coach. I'm just saying like someone who's going to be passionate about it, do the business. Some people just want the discount, and that's totally rad. Maybe one day they want to do it too. I don't know. But as long as you nurture them and care about them and hold their hand through the challenge groups, they're going to know you love them. And that's what we're really doing here, right? So that's what's worked for me. I don't know what else to say, and I just figured I'd get through that as quick as possible so that you guys could ask me whatever questions you want.
Why don't you guys just unmute yourselves? I have everyone muted except for Kristin. So why don't you guys just unmute yourselves and then go ahead and ask your questions, and then we'll kind of go from there. And I'm hoping someone has a question.
Well, I do. I don't know.
What's up?
Okay, so I have a question. How did you invite like so many people to your challenge group? Because like starting out, finding the challengers. So how often, like how long, like how much of your day was just talking to people in your challenge groups?
Okay, so basically what I did was I created an event. And so I just made an event. I made a cute banner, and then I found out how to invite so many people in Facebook. So Facebook and I haven't figured out how to invite everybody, and I think that that's totally fine, because I've added a lot of like coaches with that video I have. I've had a lot of random people friend me and stuff, which is cool. I love that. But I don't want to, send them that challenge group invite if they're already coaches doing their own challenge group. So you can actually go and you create an event, and then it says invite select people, or you can invite your whole friend list. And it'll cut it off at about 460, 480, sometimes 520. I don't know. I've gotten some weird numbers. And then I throw it out there, and at least 10 or 15 people say that they want to join. And then some people say maybe, and then nobody really declines. They just don't say yes or no.
Right.
They just blank. So I give it like 3 or 4 days. I'm posting consecutively 3 to 5 posts a day, whether I'm working out, hanging out with my cats, whatever. And then I'll go in, like if someone says they want to join my challenge group, I don't go, boom, message them. No. Because you're going to look desperate. Just let it ride for like 3 or 4 days. And you're like, unless you're at the end of the month and you're like, I need to get a challenge pack sold or something to hit Success Club or whatever. Then I'll be like, hey, what's up? But what you want to do is you just want to let it ride for 3 or 4 days, and then message them and be like, hey, what's up? I saw you wanted to come to my, fall back in love with yourself February fitness group. What are your goals? What are you thinking? Like, what can I help you with? And they're like, oh shit, I hit that button. And like, then they're like, whoops. And then I know, okay. And then they're like, what do you do? And then I've actually got a challenger like that. Or they just want some more information and they're not ready yet, or they just are ready to rock and roll and go. And they're like, I thought you'd never message me. So those are the kind of responses I get. But if that invite about 500 to 1,000 people, and you can create multiple events so you can get all your friends that invite out to get around that whole like stop on how many friends you have, Facebook limit or whatever it is, you're going to get Success Club 5 that month. It's going to happen. You're going to be able to hit Success Club 6 at least. Out of 500 people, you're going to find 3 people you can help. I guarantee it. Or they're going to know somebody that you didn't message that they're like, oh my gosh, I know you're not friends with my sister, but she could totally do this. And then boom. So.
And an important thing I think is doing it at like not waiting until 2 days before your challenge group starts. You need to like be making your events. Like I try to do them 3 weeks out because then it gives me a couple of days to kind of chat with them and move through it.
And then they need to order it.
Yeah. And so you do that at the end of the month. If, you know, like if you're at the end of the month and you're trying to hit Success Club, that would not be the method I would use. I would just cold message people. But if you want to plan those things ahead a little bit to be the most effective.
Like, for example, I'm running my March fitness group invites. I started that a week ago. And my March group is going to start March 20th. And today's the 4th. So right now I had like 2 people sign. I've got 2 more people signing tonight. So I'll be at Success Club 8 tonight, I think. Yeah. And then they have enough time, the 4th, to be able to get it by the 20th for sure, even if something goes crazy with shipping, and get their measurements done to send to me so I can log them for them, because I log everybody's measurements in folders on my computer. So at the end, if they want their own little transformation story, I've done it for them. So I can send them that file and be like, here, boom, this is your story. Which they're like, what? You did that? And I'm like, yeah, you know. Because I'm just an organizational freak. But you guys don't have to do all that. But that's just kind of like setting yourself apart and above some other coaches. Like that's my little spin on it. When I send out a prize, I send out a thank you note and you're doing an awesome note, and make it all cute and write them a cute little message and tell them that I think they're doing amazing. And they open it and they're like, oh my God, this is the time to like make this card. I do. But I mean, I also do this all day. This is all I do. I live in my office. I really need to work on turning it off and going downstairs and spending time with my poor boyfriend who eats dinner alone every night because I eat it in the office by myself. There's not a chair in here for him. So I think that that's what I need to figure out. And I think it's good to have a balance, because if you don't, it's not going to be fun anymore. It's not going to be worth it. You're going to lose that passion. And so I'm not saying I've lost that passion. I'm just saying I can totally see myself like becoming so consumed that it overtakes me. And so I think it's good to realize that in the beginning, that you've got to be able to have some sort of a balance so you can be that happy, motivating person, because you're their leader. You got to be that rock, that strong one that's not going to, crumble. You got to be able to hold all these challengers up and keep them going. Even if you're having a bad day, you got to be able to just forget it, leave it at the door. That's what all employees tell you. Leave your stuff at the door when you come into work. It's the same thing you got to do in your business. You got to take your life out of it. Even though we are supposed to post about our lives and our transformations and stuff, just keep everything positive and uplifting, because consistency is key. They want to know that they can come to your page and that you're going to lift their spirits up if they're having a bad day.
Kristin, I have a question for you.
What's up, Bree?
For the coaches, because obviously you mentioned that you work all the time. And I know, like, as a coach, coming from the opposite standpoint of I worked 60 hours with a newborn, that's just not possible. And I know a lot of the girls looking like at the faces on this call, I know a lot of them work or they have a child that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
So what would be your top tips if they can't sit there at the computer and message all day and, create those stories and do those things? What are your top 3 things that you would say are moving your business forward and got you to Diamond? If you had to condense it, if you had a full-time job, what would be the most important things that are moving you forward and making you, successful?
That's a good question. I would say your personal development. is one. You got to do it because it's going to keep you up when you're struggling, because maybe you haven't been able to hit Success Club yet because you do have all these other things that you're committed to. So, because in the beginning, I was not like, I just didn't have all the answers. I was, how am I going to do this? You know, Alora was my upline and she's amazing. She's amazing, but she has a baby and she has grad school. So I didn't want to pound her with questions. So I felt like I had to figure this out myself. And there were days that I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't get it. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And so I would just throw myself in my personal development book. So that's key because that lifted my spirits. The next thing is that you want to just make sure you post consecutively every day, because if people don't see you on social media, you're not going to remember. They need to see you in their face, not all the time, but 3 times a day. And you want to be able to hit people who are on it in the morning, the afternoon, and night. So if worse comes to worse and you're in school all day, or nights are crazy for you because you're making dinner with, you know, your husband and the kids, or whatever time of the day is horrible, get on something like Hootsuite or Buffer that'll actually post it for you. And I wouldn't get in the habit of doing that all the time, because I think it takes a lot of credibility away from your actual Facebook personal page. But for my like page, I have it set up. It's all Buffer. Buffer does it unless I come up with something fun just in the middle of the day, and I'll post it then. Because I can't be dealing with that. So you could have that going, not be worrying about that, just checking in to see if anyone messaged you or sent a comment while you're going through your busy day at work. And then you just read some personal development before you go to bed. And then you also need to be a product of the product. You've got to use the products. You've got to know about them. So it's the only thing that the last thing that you're doing is you need to have knowledge on what's going on in Beachbody. If you don't know that Beachbody On Demand is launched, you got to know that, because you just got to know it. If you want to coach, you got to know it, because that's going to change the game. So you got to check into your back office and see what's going on. You know, do you have somebody that's going to cancel their Shakeology? Okay, you need to figure out why so you don't lose your rank. So I would say check into your back office, do your personal development and post 3 to 5 times a day if that is all you can commit to the Beachbody business. And you can still be successful. You absolutely can, because all these women I read about, that's what they did in the beginning. You know, I'm not going to say I'm lucky that I don't have children, because maybe one day I want to, but you know, I don't always want to be a workaholic. I want to be able to have that life where this is why I did it. Why? So I can just sit here alone and reap the benefits? No, I want to be able to like spend it with someone. So don't think that you have to be this crazy workaholic like me to make it in this business. You definitely don't. I mean, you just don't. You can totally do it with just those simple 3 things. And I don't want this call to make people feel like, oh my gosh, this is a big ball of wax. I can't wrap my brain around it. You definitely can. Like, everybody can be a top 10 coach if they want to.
And I think, like, for me, I guess I went diamond, I don't know, in like, 5 months, maybe 4 months, something like that the first time. And I did it working an hour a day. So Kristin went diamond in 68 days. And then obviously I lost my rank and, you know, all that stuff. And then I got it back. But I think the important thing is, like, yeah, she went diamond in 68 days, which is freaking awesome. So if you can only commit an hour a day, like, you're still going to see success. It just might not be as quick as, you know, 68 days. So
Brittany and I started at the same time, and when she went diamond, I wanted to like cry because it took
for you.
Yeah, she went at Summit. So for all of you ladies, like, it took me 11 months to go diamond, which is what it took Anita Myron, who is a top coach now.
Yeah,
I mean, there are people that aren't working full time, or that are working full time that aren't working full time, that have other things going on, and I think basically what Britt's saying, I mean, Britt, you went diamond right away and you were working this business an hour a day.
Yeah.
And same with me, like when I was working, I was like pushing, but I only had so many hours in the day. And obviously my 1-year-old was took precedence over, you know,
everything, as they should, you know, your families have to come first. They just have to. Because that's why we're doing this, to be able to spend more time with our family. So don't take that away from them. You know what I mean? To run the business, you gotta do you first, or how are you going to inspire anybody else if you're not happy inside? You know, you got to take those nights where you have a glass of wine or paint your nails, or you watch junk food TV and you just watch The Bachelor like all night. You got to be able to do that, or whatever you love, you know, because then what's the point? And that's
or
where
you let your 3-year-old terrorize your house.
Yeah.
Well, on this 40 minutes, my house literally looks like a tornado just came through. So there's that. She's not mine though, so she goes home and then I clean up after her. Thank goodness. I know that there was a couple of questions about like your ads, like, or you know, like your jab right hooks, like your call to action. Like, how do you structure those to like make sure you're not overwhelming people, but also to make sure like that you are getting bringing awareness to your business, you know, to the business opportunity, and balancing that with your challenge groups as well?
I don't know. I mean, like I like there's calls to actions that I see. I follow people like Bonnie Engel and some other coaches that are a couple star diamond or whatever. And I kind of just check out their pages and I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Like how do they have such a huge following? Like I Google them, I do a lot of research. So that's because I'm just always doing this. So you can't just message people all day. So I do a lot of research and I look at these top coaches or whatever, and I see like, okay, how long did they take to do it? What kind of types of things are they posting? And then I do my own spin on it. So I haven't done a call to action in a while actually. But let me see here. I basically just try to make them fun. I try to list like, this is what I'm going to do. But I want them to be like, wow, with the thing I created, like the little ad I make. So I try to make my ads simple and colorful, because that's just like peripherals. Your eye's going to see it. So just, oh shoot, I want to give you guys like an example. Shit. I look at top coaches. Look at what Anita Myron's posting. Anita does Instagram, and she also does her like page, and she does lots of calls to action. Also Laura Carrier. So I'll look at them and I'll just go, okay, they're saying, especially today for the Beachbody On Demand, or a lot of people are asking me about what I do in this Beachbody On Demand stuff. Well, basically it's this. You can work out from anywhere at any time as long as you have the internet. Make it simple. Like, dumb it down. Real simple. If you want more information, drop me a message or leave your email or personal message me, because some people don't want to leave their email to be like, oh my God, I need help working out, whatever, even though it's not a big deal. I think it's awesome to want to get fit, but people get nervous about what they post, you know, because everybody sees it. So just let them be able to contact you anyway, and then just make it simple. And then have a flyer. Like my March flyer is like, make someone sprung this spring, and it's all green and it has like a 4-leaf clover, and then it goes, fitness challenge begins March 20th. Comment below or email me at my email. Boom, that's it. I don't have like I don't put the products on there, like the 21-day fix cups and stuff, because I just look at it like, is that really an ad? Did Kristin create that? No, I make it look like, so people are like, Kristin created this. Oh my God, what did she create? Oh, let me look at it. Let me read it. And they read it and they're like, why did you do that? So that's what I kind of do. I don't know. I just make everything like from scratch. Like I still make like anniversary cards in construction paper, like I'm a child. Yeah. And it works. He loves them. With the glitter and the glue, like you just have to be like really just genuine.
Does anyone else have any questions? I feel like it's a lot to take in, a lot to like, you know, I always feel like that when Anita, like she had Melanie Mitro on her call one time, and I was like, I like need to take a deep breath, because I'm like, there's so much knowledge to soak in. But does anyone else we only have 5 minutes, so can you calm down for a second, please? Just a second.
Well, I do want to say, if anybody wants to friend me on Facebook to follow what I do, or just hit the follow or just friend me, Either way is fine. And then just kind of see what I do. Like, just watch my feed and see how often I post about cats, or how often I post about Matt, or that's my boyfriend, or how often I post about, or how many calls to action I do, and kind of like take a inventory of what I'm doing. Because honestly, I don't really even know. I just am like, okay, I need to hit 2 calls of action this week for sure. Someday this week, I got to hit it. And I got to promote my March group. So I'll make sure that those are lined up. But throughout the day, I just come up with like what I'm doing. So feel free to friend me or ask me questions or whatever. Because I know it might be just like, I can't think of a question right now because you're like, on the spot. That's how I feel too sometimes. So just if you want to ask me a question later, that's totally fine. I'll be here all night, like always.
Well, I want to say thank you to Kristin for getting on and sharing all your knowledge with our girls. I know Bree and I, Bree has a really big team, but we both are, your team is huge. Bree has like 75 coaches. I'm not even kidding.
That's nuts. And after like what she just did in February, I'm like, oh, you could be busy, girl.
We're blowing it up.
Bree, for anybody who didn't know, Bree hit Success Club 52 last month.
Yeah. Come on now.
She has like challengers coming out her ears, I think, right now. But I do want to say thank you for like taking the time out of your night. And I know it's like 5:30 your time. So just taking your time out of your night to talk to the girls and kind of share your excitement and motivation for the business. And if no one else has any questions, we can let her go and not just be hanging out here with us. Does anyone have anything else at all? We have 2 minutes. No?
Thanks for sharing, Kristin.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad I got to like meet you and like talk to you. I think that's awesome because I'm always like, but now I can be like, I see you and hear you. It's cool.
Brittany and I laugh. You're like the person that we need to like go like have a cup of coffee to like get on your level.
I have 4 pre-workouts and I'm still not as excited as
If you guys go watch her videos on YouTube, you will see her jump up on her chair in like half her videos. Like I think she
Oh my god, okay.
I think she takes caffeine pills.
I really don't.
This is her in her YouTube videos.
And then did you see like the one, I know not a lot of time, where it was literally 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh my god, Beachbody on Demand. Beachbody on Demand comes out. I'm gonna just make a little and like go through all the workouts. So I Googled them all, like watched them. I'm like, okay, that's kind of like turbo fire, some kicking stuff. And then I just put it together. And Matt was sleeping downstairs and I was like jumping around, like trying not to be loud.
My boyfriend would shoot me. That would never happen at our house.
Yeah, he's a former U.S. Navy SEAL, so
he really would shoot you. No,
yeah,
that's horrible.
Weapons everywhere. That's why my team name is Bang Bang. For people that are like, what? It's because my boyfriend's a former U.S. Navy SEAL.
That's funny.
All right, guys. Well, let me know if you have any questions. You what?
Hi, girls. Can I send you guys a new link really quick? It'll be like 5 minutes. Can I just have 5 minutes of your time? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for getting on. It's recorded. So
Thank you.
I will try to make sure I post a link so that you guys, if you want to go back there and take notes and stuff, okay?
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.